Good morning, everyone. Before I get started, let me take just a moment on behalf of Chief Deputy Lazinski and myself. I have to thank each and every one of the detectives, the men and women in the back of the room that unfortunately we can't put on camera, and the supervisors and management. Thank you. I know this was a tough operation. It always is, working through the holidays, working in the cooler weather, and working under the conditions that you guys work under, especially with the COVID outbreak and still being as tenacious as you are. Let me just give you a tremendous thank you on behalf of all of us. Well, thank you for being here. January is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And today, January 11th, is National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. It only seems fitting that we announce the end of an extensive, month-long operation focusing on finding individuals who seek to buy another person for sex. Operation Interception is one of many proactive approaches we have taken over the last 2 years in preparation of Super Bowl 55. With less than a month away from the big game, our covert operations continue and will continue, seeking those who choose to sexually exploit others here in our community. The name of this operation just isn't a catchy football moniker. Our goal, as the operation name explains, is to intercept those involved in sexual exploitation before they're able to take advantage of the vulnerable individuals in our community, and ultimately, hopefully, deter others. Like any major sporting event, the Super Bowl should not be a venue where these types of crimes occur on the sidelines, whether it's before the game, during the game, or after the game. To make that message clear, during Operation Interception, our undercover detectives posted online ads offering to meet up, making themselves available for the purchase of sex. And our female detectives posed as prostitutes on the streets. This combined approach attracted the 71 Johns, or sex buyers, you see pictured beside me. And they come from a variety of backgrounds. Among them are active duty military, a banker, Christian school teacher, firefighter, construction workers, and local business owners. Two of our suspects, Daryl Robinson and John II, are already registered sex predators. All of these men have one thing in common. They did not care if the women they were going to have sex with were being exploited or forced to sell their bodies against their will. The reality is, no one willingly chooses to enter the world of sexual exploitation. In fact, we have found that in many cases, these individuals suffer from some type of victimization of rape or suffer from some type of substance abuse, which is why targeting the demand and freeing these vulnerable individuals from this despicable underworld is vital to eradicating human trafficking in our community. We are just a few weeks away from Super Bowl 55, and the vast majority of visitors who plan to visit our county will be here to simply enjoy the game. However, we know from past experiences with major sporting events, there will be some who travel for the exclusive purpose of taking advantage of women and children. I want to make it very clear. If you are planning on engaging in the sexual exploitation of others, I'm urging you to think twice. We will find you. We will arrest you. Now I'll take any questions anyone may have in regards to our operation.
That's a lot of people. How mad does this make you that this is still going on?
It's extremely concerning. I will tell you that our detectives, when they post these online ads in the social media avenues that this type of activity occurs, they've talked to hundreds of people. These are the 71 individuals who showed up. But they've made contact, have telephone contact with hundreds of individuals. So when you talk about the concern of the 71 individuals that showed up and were placed under arrest, I'm extremely concerned and extremely bothered by the fact that the demand is still so great here in Tampa.
Any other questions? drive up demand for these sort of things?
Sometimes it's just the sheer volume of people visiting here. And again, then you have some people, the sole purpose of coming here is to traffic women and children. Some will bring their own women and children. Some will come here seeking to victimize our community. And that's just for the sheer volume of numbers. And again, it all goes back, when you talk about eradicating human trafficking, it all comes back to the demand. And that's why all of our operations have been focused on eradicating the demand, removing the demand. And again, this is just one small piece of what we're doing right now is the enforcement part. That's our job. But we've also made an extremely concerted effort in the prevention side, prevention through education, teaching our county employees on the identifying symptoms of someone suffering or someone that's engaged or someone that's being trafficked. Whether it's the hospitality industry, the rideshare industry, our county employees. We've educated our own workforce here. Been doing a ton to make sure that we're educating airport employees, everything, again, to make sure we're diminishing the demand as we prepare for the game. But let me just make one thing again abundantly clear. This operation's been a 2-year operation. Until we eradicate human trafficking here in Tampa, Florida, we're not gonna stop. Take a look at the men and women behind you. They're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. And I love the fact when they sit and they communicate back to me that it's becoming harder and harder. They don't want to meet in Hillsborough County because they know that the heat's been on. Well, that's why I love the media. Thank you for putting this out because we're not going to stop. The game's going to come. The game's going to leave. Our human trafficking efforts are still going to continue.
How does this help the human trafficked people, the women, the children, even some of the men, when you're arresting the Johns and they're really not involved yet?
Yeah, because if we eradicate the demand, there won't be a demand. It won't be so profitable, and that's a great question. This has become extremely profitable. You know, we generally look at we see movies, what we think is human trafficking, but it's stepfathers. It's boyfriends. It's gang members now are starting to realize how profitable trafficking individuals are. And that's why we're trying to target the demand. If we reduce the demand and it's not so profitable, they'll go on to something else and we can continue doing what we're doing. And that's the best part. And these 71 individuals, some of them have been arrested before, 2 of them sexual offenders. That's great news. But the better news is over the last 2 years, we've been able to rescue 8 victims who've turned their life around, who we worked with our non-governmental agencies and gotten them help, gotten them substance abuse help, gotten them back on their feet, got them gainful employment. They're the true heroes here.
One last thing. In this era of COVID, how much harder is it to do these sort of investigations, these undercover things? With just the danger of COVID around?
Well, the sad part is it hasn't reduced the demand. The demand is still there, and we've been monitoring that closely to say, hey, listen, during COVID, is everyone concerned? Will everyone be more safe? Not the case. The demand hasn't diminished at all. The risk to our employees is extremely high, and that's why I started today by, again, just thanking them once again by putting themselves out there to make sure these types of investigations happen and to make sure that we're eradicating human trafficking in Tampa.
On a larger scale, aside from Super Bowl, what makes Tampa so attractive?
That could be a lot of different things. I mean, I always go back to the reason I came here, and probably most of you, the weather. You know, the weather, a lot of financial implications. There's a lot of different reasons. But I think it's not just Tampa. It's the state of Florida. I think it's the warmer climates. I think it's harder to operate under a lot of these conditions. When you're cold, you're not out walking around. So I think a lot of that diminishes some of this activity. So I think it's the warm weather, you know, haphazardly just joking, but I think a lot of it's the weather. They can operate easier out in the warmer climates.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister here in Tampa.